Welcome to Seasoned Women's Podcast, the show that is raw, real, and uncut. This show will have everything that a well-seasoned woman is looking for. Seasoned women will be highlighting people from all walks of life in the ICT and across the country. No topics are off limits. Seasoned women, we're going to make it make sense. I'm just saying. My name is Mary Dean, and I'm the host of Seasoned Women, and I'm the queen of all seasons. My guest today is Coach Tracey Cox Mason, who is the founder of CHD, Condition Heart Discipline Boxing Club. Welcome, Coach Mason.
Thank you, Mother Mary.
Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Coach Mason, can you give us, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Well, I'm a 55-year-old, born and raised in Wichita, Kansas. Predominantly lived in the northeast side of Wichita, predominantly over here in this area that I now have a boxing gym at, the 67214 area code. I got three adult children.
Mhm.
Two boys, one young lady. Each one of them are married, or to that extent, the youngest one is going to get there sooner or later. 7 grandbabies, boxing coach, a youth advocate, just a person who just likes to try to change the trajectory I was heading down. So that's who I am today.
Okay. Well, who are you? What made you who you are today from where you used to be? Because you got a story, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we all got stories, and I definitely have one that when I look today, sometimes I wonder where I'm at, how I got here. I just thank and praise God, the Most High, all the time, because I do have a story. Again, I've been born and raised here in Wichita, Kansas. I have an extensive family here, and growing up, we grew below the poverty line. The majority of the people that my peers, my uncles and older cousins were either athletes or criminals. So I grew up in that type of element.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in that type of environment. So I had one of those two choices. Then I grew up under this, now that we know, false doctrine, Christianity teaching. So
Come on.
my background was pretty, it was trauma without knowing it's trauma, right? Because everybody, like I said, my uncles, older cousins, all of them had high hopes of being either some big time criminal or some big time athlete. There was really not a lot of good morals. Even though my mother did her best. My mother is what got me here, and my grandmother, because they did their best, and they were very kind people, and they were very strict about the ways and about how to treat people and how to be. And so I had that balance, but that balance as a male was thrown out because my male figures that I looked up to were, again, they were athletes or criminals.
Yeah. So based on that, you chose another path to do what you're doing now when it comes to CHD. And what was your passion when you decided this is what you wanted to do?
A younger version of me, a young male, to really reach that one and interrupt his life from going down the path I did. As I said, I have 2 older adult sons, and I feel I did a fairly decent job because they elevated on some things that what levels I wasn't. So now that family dynamic is kind of together, I can branch out and reach out to some of these other youth that are thinking that crime is the way, and just try to give them different perspective, a different culture change. So that's what youth, a young man, it actually 1 or 2 young men that I kept running into when I was living in Las Vegas. And they always was interested in what I had to say. And they start doing it. One ended up going to school, ended up enrolling in auto tech. And I had a whole bunch of tools at the time. And I told him if he graduated at the top, I'd give him all my tools. I had a lot of tools. And he did. And he stuck with me, fixed all my cars, for free. It was that was just a great feeling, because when I first met him, when I first got down there, he was he was a mess. He'll say things to you and be like, oh, do I gotta hit this dude or do what I gotta do? So, and just over the years, things don't happen overnight. So that kind of got into me. Then once I transferred back down here, it was just a no-brainer. I was in fact encouraged from some of the younger men down in Vegas to continue working here. He said, that's where you're from. So just being able to try to reach one of these youngsters to just misdirect, give them some other avenues.
So how do you recruit these young men? And before you answer that, I know you recruit young men, but what about the young ladies that want to learn how to box and whatever? Have you had anyone to come in and say, hey, Coach Mason, I want to learn how to, box as well? And how do you recruit the young men? Two-part question.
It isn't, it's definitely open to young ladies. I have had several. One went off and played basketball. She was damn good. So it's a little different dynamic because it's overall totally in boxing. The percentage of young ladies boxing is small percentages. So, but I do get them, and I am very open to really, and again, it comes from me having to be open and going through some of the classes I went through, the safe sports and things, how to deal with young ladies and young teenage boys and groups and individuality, and being able to show them a different side of sports, someone that cares, that's where me caring about how they eat and how they dress and how, different things, what their future thoughts is. So yes, definitely young ladies. Young ladies are very, I said, I got one in particular, she'll be two actually, went out to play basketball. And, just very excited about them. They keep in contact with me periodically.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Now the young men, I know that you travel across the country with them for in boxing tournaments and stuff. So what is your success story when it comes to them winning championships? Have any of them won any championships?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We have the reigning Kansas, Oklahoma Golden Gloves national champion. This guy, he's only been boxing for me for a year. He's only been boxing a year. He started with me a year when he started boxing, and he won the Kansas, Oklahoma Golden Gloves. He went up to the Nationals, lost in the second move. Great experience for him. So he garnered a lot of attention up there national. I got a lot of emails and calls. Hey, coach, the guy looks good. So very excited about his future. He's a raw young man, very humble, very open to learning. Big fella too, So he's real humble because he takes stuff from me, and and he's he's like 6'5", just back there. Yeah, he's a big, but he's so humble, and I come at him with this coaching stuff like that, and he receives it, and then he goes out and does it. Then we talk about it. I'm very excited for him. It's another young man that very excited for. He's back. He went to Texas. He was one of the ones that had all Fs when I first got involved with him 2.5 years ago. Now he's an A and B. Well, he's a B, C student.
Okay.
He got 2 A's though. So he got 2. He will let me know that. I got 2 A's though, folks.
Well, that's good. So go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, have you ever had any people come to you and say, "Hey, coach, I need to learn how to, box to defend myself. Not looking for it for his career, and I'm just looking for some defense mechanisms and stuff because of bullying. Because a lot of our kids in the schools are being bullied and whatever, and they don't really, they kind of timid when it comes to, what should they do and whatever, because they feel like if they do something, they'll get beat up or whatever. So have you had young men to come in and say, hey, coach, I need to learn how to defend myself because I'm tired of getting bullied in school or even in the neighborhood?
No, definitely. It's out of the 300 to 400 that's been through the program in the 4 years. If I was to guess, it's 70 to 80% of the youth that have children, young ladies, young youth, young men that have come through came here to learn how to defend themselves and deal with bullying. And I specifically talk about de-escalation, mindset, how to even prevent, avoid, and if all else, all those, first of all, we want to avoid at all costs, especially those that have violent tendencies. I just tell them, avoid those people altogether. Just, that's a party they're going to, you're just gonna have to make up your mind and avoid it.
Right.
So yeah, we definitely teach that. It's like I said, it's a higher percentage, and again, it's not that we want them to hurt anyone. We just don't want them to be hurt.
Right.
So,
Right.
This been, what it is. They come and I teach them different things. I teach them different how to really stand, different ways to move, different ways, different defense mechanisms. I use boxing to show them some defensive drills as far as like defense training, defending training and stuff like that. So there's definitely a high percentage that do come through here, and they'll tell you flat out. Some of the parents will tell you flat out, this is what's going on. Bullying is at a different level.
Yeah.
There's always been bullying, but this is just at a different level.
Yes.
So after listening to a lot of them and being around it, being around them, because I always somehow engaging with them throughout, whether it's coaching boxing, football, being a security guard around them or whatever, even my children, just being and seeing a different level of bullying. So you have to have different approaches.
Yes.
And one of the first foremost approaches is avoid them at all costs.
That's possible. You're right, because it's a lot of violence that we're having in the community and in the schools as well. Yeah. That's another question. Have you, because I know there are several organizations that have programs in the middle schools and the high schools when it comes to either the girls or the boys. So have you ever talked to anyone in the USD 259 administration about maybe becoming partners and having some kind of class, or they send students to you that they feel like need some extra attention or whatever? Have you had that?
I've had too many conversations. For my personal taste, I'll just say that. I've had far too many conversations. And it's not that I'm saying that I'm the cure-all or the miracle or any of that, but I'm a part of what they're trying to get a solution to.
Right.
I'm not a small part. I may be doing small measures, but I'm not a small part.
Right.
So I've had far too many conversations. In fact, we've had far too many conversations. The school system's had far too many. With the stepping down of Superintendent Thompson, is a sign that, I hope it's a sign that it changes for the better, good, but I don't see it until I see the results. But far too many conversations is just being had and not actions being done. So so I definitely have.
Yeah. And I think your program would be a good program also for the foster care system. These young men that go into the foster care system that have issues with discipline and other issues, when it comes to their anguish and how mad they are and whatever. But I think your program would be a good program for foster care young men like, Cedric Lofton.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I know you and I and several other people were advocating out there, that he gets justice for what happened to him. And I think he would probably still be with us if he had received the kind of help that he needed and the attention that he needed as a young man, as a child. He wasn't a man, he was a child.
Well, he was a child, baby. Then his brother's been coming here to the gym. And, so yeah, and in all actuality, something has occurred that has showed some signs of the WPD listening and some people listening. I have interfered, but it's directly related to some of the youth that's been involved. And this is what you're saying. I have been involved, and police have been like the mother, or the mother one time said, "Hey, can y'all call Coach Tracey?" They called me, showed up. One time the officers seen me where I was heading to the young man and the mother's house, and the officer allowed me to step in. They stepped all the way back. I just, for Cedric and others, we needed more of this. And I think that's something that I can, if there's a pin your hat thing on what I say, what I mean. And I don't just mean it for, I only mean it for the intent for that young man not to be murdered, be hurt, be incarcerated for nothing, compound the issue, have an understanding, be treated like a human being. Those are the things that I expect when you're talking about you're in a position of authority. And so with me as a position of authority, I am here. That has to be a play in minds. I can't be in my mindset thinking to hurt this young child, and no other authority should be thinking it. And if they can't, we'll call somebody like.
Right.
Right. We had the buzz. It's again, there's so many conversations around this and so many kind of pockets of this. But again, some of these people are not directly tied to what is considered the streets. Unfortunately, I came from there. I've been there. Not saying that I'm bragging on it or anything, but the correlation is there. Hey, that's that OG. And like I said, it was a blessing to be able to get involved in these two incidents with these two young men out of my jail. But that's the hope, is to be more involved as that, because we can't have people just dying just because they're upset.
Right. Got to choose a whole different avenue in resolving issues instead of harming each other.
It upsets me because it might be, one of the things that makes me love to do the food, help with food the best I can, is because they might be hungry.
Thank you.
And there's a situation that we're dealing with in this District 1, 67214 area code. We're in a food desert, and been in one since I moved back here for 4 years, and it's 4 years plus. So somebody is dropping the ball.
That's right.
You got a young child, you got multiple children, and most of the time these children are hungry, don't sleep at night, for whatever reasons. We don't have exact data, but these are facts that I know. They're either hungry, can't sleep at night, or being abused. So. And none of these are being dealt with, for me, on the base level where they're saying they want solutions from. You want the solutions at the base, but you want to go to the base and fully fund it. And again, this district is just in shambles. We're in a food desert, and it's just mind-boggling.
And Tracey, another thing, you named 3 things: the food, lack of food, lack of sleep, being abused. But what about homelessness? We got a high percentage of our children that are homeless.
Yes.
really don't
Yeah.
have anywhere to
Children.
go, you know,
Children. Yes.
children.
Children.
So, for a city, when I found out that a city has over 350 homes that they have bought, and they're talking about, these candidates are coming out talking about homelessness and whatever. Well, you got the resources and the tools right there at your hand to make sure that we don't have any homeless children in this city. What are they doing, Tracey? What's going on?
They're getting to the bag, individually, whichever individuals is up there, they make these faulty promises because like those numbers, and that we both know the resources is there, the money is there. Our district leaders, our mayors, our even some of our neighborhood associations, a lot of our organizations, we just get into the bag.
Yeah.
Or notoriety.
Yeah.
I learned this, that if somebody cares, they're gonna do something about what they care about. And I learned that if somebody don't care, they're not gonna do nothing about what they don't care about. I know those two things are true. I can't help but go by the evidence since I've been here 4 years. District 1 has lost grocery stores. Lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've lost businesses.
Yes.
Things are the violence has ticked up. To know people personally and then to almost be evicted and still not have any formable plans moving forward when there's been multiple conversations, it makes me just sometimes want to stand with a bullhorn and cuss everybody out. And just name who they are and ask what are they doing. I understand they got titles and they're doing things. I understand that. But when we're talking about a specific thing, it's an easy fix, but it's an easy put in play. You can easily put it in play. It just takes that little bit of time that you spend thinking about it. Because we're talking about we need a solution for violence. All right, you need a solution for, like you said, houses. There's so many different houses here. The county and city manager or county let us know the money is there.
Yes.
The resources is there.
Yes.
It's a matter of really wanting to hire people and applying those people there, put them there and making it happen. Do they care? I deal with violent youth, and again, for me to be facing eviction when I'm in the middle of so much great conversation, and I'll say it that way because that's what it really is just great conversation. Because if we ever was to put the great conversation behind violence and youth dealing with the youth, a percentage of this will come down drastically.
Yes.
We're not gonna 100%, but if all these great conversations would just be put into play,
Mm-hmm.
with your money where your mouth is. With the money where your mouth is, because that's the one catch that they keep in a circle. We know the money is there. We see it. We see all the little events, but when you put an event together, that's like a Band-Aid. That's like I can give people food for the day, but what about food for tomorrow? What about health for tomorrow? What about not fearing being murdered for tomorrow because somebody's hungry over here or somebody got abused over here, and we're not dealing with these issues like they're issues and we really care because the resources are there.
Yes. Answer me this, Tracey, Coach Mason. Are you still needing assistance and help in making sure that you can continue with your program?
Always, definitely, yes. I'm a grassroots. It was a shout out to the supporters that got us, kept us here to this point. But everybody did their smile. That shows the love. It was, first of all, the love that was showed, that the Most High allowed people to show, was just awesome. It was not just one or two people, it was hundreds of people. And that just shows me, that reinforced to me that the purpose that I'm doing is I may not be a perfect person, but someone, these people seen enough in me, in the walk that I'm doing, to know that it stands for something, and they stand for what it is. So yes, but it's being that said, it's just me. Um, so it's always a battle to really keep the things going, like moving forward. We have events coming up we want to get to. We got shows we probably got to travel to. School is coming up. We want to get them ready for school with stepping up on our mental health training, de-escalation program. And these things cost time, and time costs money. And so it's always those little contributions always help. Whether it's whether it's buying some shoes for a young child, because that's what led me down to the life of crime. I made a decision because I had raggedy shoes to become a criminal. So that's one of the things that I really like paying attention to, is a young child with shoes.
Yeah.
So we always can use small contributors. We definitely can always. We have a business account set up, nonprofit. We're a charitable nonprofit. Everything we do is for the youth and for the future, to help these underserved young people to be better and later in society. That's my sole purpose. So definitely.
So how can people contribute to CHD in donations, clothing, food, whatever? How can they do that?
So for the majority of the time, I'm basically here based at the gym doing like lessons, private training lessons, or so. But you can drop food off, non-perishables, or fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. Things that's easily edible. For a food pantry that we have here, help with the houseless that's over here in the 67214. So you can drop it here off at 2505 East 9th Street. You see the building on the south side of the street. Or you can drop by cash if you want. You can mail 2505 East 9th Street again, a money order or a check, or you can donate a small contribution to C Cash App, $CHDINC3. Again, we're always open here for you to stop by. You can bring water is needed all the time. We're in it's hot, and we are a hub to help the houseless stay hydrated. So you can always donate water, things of that nature, things that keeps the gym moving. You can stop by sometime if you're a professional. Try to set up an appointment to set up something to meet with the youngsters.
Okay.
I always love for volunteers to show up and talk about their professions.
Good. So before I let you go, I know you said you were having some events coming up. Are those fundraisers for you, or are the events free, or what kind of events are you gonna have?
So we got our first. We're CHD's boxing club is putting their first boxing event together. Vila Boxing Club has allowed us to use their boxing gym. Labor Day weekend, September the 2nd. So we're gonna put as many. I was putting the list. We got 1, 2, 3, 7 young children, youth that are gonna have their first matches. Well, 6 of them we having their first matches. 2 of them is already, again, like I said, they've been already doing this. So we're excited. It's a fundraiser.
Okay.
We're very excited about it. It is definitely, again, we're gyms. That's called that collaboration. That's what I mean about that outreach, that support, that love, that care that was showed. It was just amazing. He reached out to me. So that's going to be September. That's the one thing that we're focused and locked in on for this first event. to hopefully get us secured throughout the rest of this year, and hopefully throughout the rest of the summer. We're trying to get it clear to where we can get to a building, possibly ownership, or get some extended contract lease. Because we don't want, as long as the Most High Almighty I Am gives me life and give me this purpose, I'm always going to try to walk this, because it's His will that I walk this purpose. We just don't. We don't want to leave this area.
Good. I hear you. And you've done a great job, Coach Mason. You really are. You brought it to my attention that I've known you for a long time, and so ever since we have reconnected, you have impressed me by what you do and your passion and your commitment to these children, and we want to make sure that you stay where you are. And on your next event in September, are you going to advertise it so people, if they want to contribute, they can?
Yes.
Just make it known, and you let me know, and I'll share it as much as I can, because I sure want to support you in any way and every way I can.
We definitely will. I'll be going to get flyers later on today, in fact. But we're definitely using all the social media things. I'll be on my page. I'll try to do it once a day before we get close. The closer we get to it, then I'll start going live. Because we definitely want to try to show show these youngsters the support. They've been working hard. It's not the popular sport, but we have quite a few gyms here. We have quite a few active young boxers here.
Oh, wow.
So I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna push it as big as I can, because I want them to get all the support they can. They deserve it. They work hard. Just for them to see a packed crowd, faces they're familiar with, or not familiar with, the kind always gives confidence.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that we look for, is to try to build a collaboration, and confidence through collaboration.
Yeah, well, that's great, and I'm just hoping that you get a whole lot of organizations, especially the men, that will collaborate with you on all the events and what you do from this point on, because what you're doing is great. I love to see the fact, when you boots on the ground, because that's what I call us. We are boots on the ground, people that interact with the communities. We know the pulse of what's going on in the community. When you have other organizations that, they sit back and they say they strategize. Well, you can strategize yourself out of the plan, right? You know what I'm saying?
At some point we got to call out that we got to stop listening to the strategizers. At some point they got to shut them up, for real. That's how I went to the Evergy thing, and it was another strategy session.
Yeah,
I was there.
Yeah.
Strategies, to me, these strategy topics and meetings and stuff like that, to me, is really disrespectful to me, because if you're talking to a bunch of intelligent people, you're telling them how you're not gonna do it, basically, or you're gonna drag them to it. That's what strategies. When you're strategizing 4 years down the line, and all the grocery stores is gone. So what strategy worked? So
you're still sitting at the table, right?
We're losing contact with we're losing. This is what, when we talk about youth, organizations are losing contact with the core issue of what you want to deal with, and that's the underserved, abused, neglected, violent tendency, possibly child. We losing focus on what a lot of these organizations, they say they say they're for, and because they don't go to the house, they do not go to the house. They don't even know where some of them hang out. They don't even know where some of them do on the weekend. And that's disengagement. Even the first things, a lot of things that come out of our adults' mouth, men's mouth, is, I'm trying to stay out the way. Well, how are you going to get in the way of solving an issue that you say you want to solve, staying out of the way?
That's right.
So we we lack that here, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We lack that fortitude to step up and step in the way. And it's sad.
Mhm.
Well, not a whole high percentages, but the percentages of with these name brand organizations. And if the solutions have, if the strategies have been working, or that you've been having meetings about has been working, you don't go up. Things don't get worse; they get better.
Mhm. Mhm.
I can hear things getting worse with the same strategy needs. So
That's all we know what the strategy is all about, getting more dollars for the organization where they're not putting it out there in the community and where it should be. So we know those strategies. Well,
definitely for
Coach
that
Mason,
new bar.
yeah, right. Well, Coach Mason, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit here and meet with me and do my podcast. I'm excited for what you're going to be doing in the future. If I can support you in any way I can, just let me know. I'm a phone call away. Just let me know, and I'll be there as much as I can. I'm old, okay?
It is an honor. I'm so glad to be on your podcast, and you thought of me, Mother Queen Mary. Since I've been knowing you and got so much insight and knowledge from your great wisdom on just approaches. It shows me how far away I've been away from some of the work and how far I have to go. Thank you for this opportunity. You are definitely who you say you are and who everyone says you are. Yeah, and I am honored. Thank you.
I am honored that you came on, Tracey. I want to call you Tracey, but Coach Mason, you earned that title. So Coach Mason, thank you for coming on. I so appreciate it. I really do. And you have a great day, okay?
You too.
Peace. Bye-bye.